4:30 in the morning here. I'm going to get hopefully a nice long one, and I think I'm going to do most of these on the bike today. All right, there comes a point where there's only so much walking out here that's good in terms of what I do. I really do need the Facebooks, and I really do need the bike ones just for business purposes. I enjoy the walking, and I prefer the walking, but these make less ads, and then I can't double dip and do two platforms at once, unfortunately, so I can't stream both. So I'm going to try to get a nice, good, solid walk in here, though. Went to the bathroom and everything. I've been able to hit some of these at 2 hours on these off days, which is always nice. It's always nice. The bike is actually, it wasn't bad yesterday. I did an hour on it, but it's going to walk. Let's see what happens. Like I said, this weekend we're going to push kind of hard, and let's see if we can get some extra fat to come off. But again, all that's coming along well. So this week I did eat quite a bit more, I feel like, in terms of total calories, but because the almond butter and stuff I threw in, but I'm going to take all that out, and let's just go ahead and tighten the calories back down. I think with this amount of cardio I'm doing on these off days, that'll tighten everything up fast. If we bring the calories back down, make sure they don't go over about 3,000 a day, and probably see the scale start coming down. I think that's a good game plan. Plus I got another watermelon left. That'll always be good. See if they have, let's see if they have more of them still on sale. I need to check. Find out if there's still a sale going. That's pretty solid. All right. But otherwise, brown rice and sweet potatoes. But yeah, the watermelons are always nice to get some of those in for a few days. They have a good price on them. Also, though, guys, I have plenty of consultation slots and coaching slots open. I had 2 people who wanted consultations today. They haven't got back with me, and they haven't paid in scheduled times. So we'll see how that goes. One of them has done a couple of these with me. He's done like 3 of them before, but, he can be hit or miss with those. You keep having to delay them. But we're getting a good walk in here. So hopefully we get more people in. It's kind of early though, so it's going to be hard to get everyone in, but the regulars might be in. So I have several guys in the UK and Europe who are in all these in the morning. So a feeling as soon as this hits their stream, they'll come in. Once they start commenting, then we're good, because comments and likes are what really kick the stream out. So it really kicks the stream out for other people and keeps it lively for me. But eventually it picks up no matter what I do, as long as we go long enough. And these walks I tend to like to do them really, really long. Especially if I get up this early. All right, we've gone to the bathroom, we're caffeinated. All right, we're in a good place. Although I forgot to turn my coffee pot off. Oh well. At least it'll be warm when I get back in. All right, we'll have a nice hot coffee. So, that's what's going on there. Although I could just as easily cut the coffee out and probably be okay. I've done that for periods too, where I just take all the coffee out. Kind of wonder how they do on that. Go through a couple days of caffeine withdrawal. There we go, a few more views picking up. Hopefully people start actually chiming in though. And hopefully it's my fitness people and not just randoms telling me I'm from India. Oh Lord. Like nobody cares what country you are from. It's a fitness channel. That's off topic, it's irrelevant. But these tend to do this sometimes this early. It's going to be a nice, uneventful stream because I don't have any of my Americans in yet. If I do, they're going to be in late. But that's not going to matter though. That won't matter either. Because like I said, I'm going to do multiple bike cardios probably today too. Again, just so I can double dip on 2 different platforms. Because on the desktop, I can stream multiple platforms at the same time. But I'm going to have to just ramble here till we get some conversations going. Speaking of conversations, the number of low-carb phonetics I get is crazy. Prime with a Y. Good morning, coach. About to go to sleep. Man, about to go to sleep. Where in the world are you at? Are you getting in from somewhere? 4th of July. Might be over on the West Coast and it's like 2 a.m. But hey, I appreciate the comment. Drop me a like, by the way, Prime, also. It'll help boost the stream up. Oh, you're in Illinois, so you're similar time zone to me. All right, so it's really early. You getting off work or were you out for the 4th of July? Yeah, like I said, I'll run this one a while. But no, yesterday was actually good. Sitting down and just doing a straight hour on the bike. I haven't done that in just a little bit. Doing both platforms was pretty good because I had people in both. But I feel like once I'm awake, that works well. Because that mid-morning tends to do good on Facebook. Especially on a weekend. But yeah, these are, like I said, I prefer the walking, but it's also difficult to get enough questions in this early, and I like starting this early because I have to with the walking. I can't do late morning. There's no way we can keep a connection for an hour or 2 straight. It simply will not do it. Once people are up all using the singular data. Because I'm out in the suburbs. I'm not right there in Houston proper. I'm out in a small city. I'm out for the 4th of July. Went to some bars, went to my friend's house, and fed some horses. Okay. Gotcha. Well, that's cool. Of course, everyone knows I'm anti-alcohol, but I was younger. I used to go to the bars and do all that stuff too. I can't necessarily judge. I used to do it. Usually not 4th of July, though. We usually went to people's houses. I miss ice cream fitness days. What do you miss about them specifically? What do you miss about those days? But a lot of people who are regulars are enjoying my current training, although they're not getting as many views. I put out too many videos. People who do watch them know, who've been watching the vlogs, are really enjoying them. What's the time there, mate? It is 4:42. I don't drink, I just hang out with friends. Okay, cool. So we got fireworks going near me. Not here. Not at 4:40 in the morning. They're pretty well done. They started early though. I was thinking about that as I was getting out here this morning, man. Because my mom used to work in the ER for over a year. My mom worked in the emergency room as an RN. And man, 4th of July is a nightmare for people who work emergency, right? I still got fireworks, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Everyone always does all their fireworks. They don't think about safety, you know. So there's always people with horrific injuries. It's like a war zone, pretty much. All right. So, like, if you talk to ER nurses, You know, they're always like, unfortunately, the 4th of July is a nightmare for them. They're like with so many hands and faces blown off every single year they have to treat. You know, yeah, not only people getting alcohol poisoning, people literally blowing up their hands and faces. Like I had one who heard a guy, he like had one come in the ear who blew his entire lower jaw off, right? Completely off, you know, off his body. Those things happen, man. So everyone wants to go play with all this stuff and they don't think about safety. But again, alcohol involved, you know. Yeah. You know. The things we do, traditions. But yeah, the alcohol too, definitely. Celebrations. You know. In fact, that's something I got to think about, you know, except that no one comes through here. I mean, I'm up here early. I'm not as worried about drunk drivers because if I did these at 2 a.m., you know, I'd be more worried on a weekend, you know. But technically, I see so few cars, you know. So if I do one of these this early, the first hour of the walk, I'm going to see 1 car, 2 cars because I'm in a neighborhood. But yeah, you're right, all the alcohol poisoning, you know, definitely a big deal. Man, these views are very low in this one. But at least we're getting comments, so it's all good. We actually have people in here. I'll take the win. If you guys toss me some likes though too, I'd appreciate it. It helps get more people in here. The more engagements you guys give, the more feeds this goes into. But like I said, either way, I'm going to do a lot of biking too this morning so I can get Facebook also. My Facebook is slowly picking back up, which is a good thing. I need that Facebook page blowing up. Yeah, it's unfortunate the views are lower right now. It's because I flooded too much informative. I need to keep them a little lower. I know to get way more views and I don't do as many. Yeah, the training vlogs are a little different now. But it's funny because the people who watch my current training vlogs are like really loving the return to the old school. Coach, isn't it cold without a shirt? Limitless, do we have to do this? Oh, I think I'm just going to ban everyone who tells me to put a shirt on at this point, even if they're a paying channel subscriber, you know. Dude, I live in Texas. Like if I had a shirt on, it would be drenched with sweat, even at 4:30 in the morning. All right. You must live in a really cold. I know you said you live whatever in the Philippines. So I'm going to assume that you live in a very conservative culture. So that's the thing everyone who mentions the shirt. I'm going to assume like you guys live in like an Islamic state or something, like where with Sharia law or something, to where men can't expose their nipples in public. All right, I don't know. I don't know if that's a thing or not, but it just seems like certain regions of the world really seem upset that I don't have a shirt on. Yeah, okay. So if I had a shirt on, I'd be the only dude out exercising wearing a shirt. You know? The women all have sports bras on when they're out here walking or jogging or doing their thing. So their nipples aren't exposed, but the men's are. Okay. So, yeah, just such a weird thing that people worry about the shirt. Don't worry about people think, oh, Scott, I'm going to keep doing me. I just think it's really, really weird. Again, being where I live, the idea that I have to have a shirt on to be out walking or jogging or anything else just seems really strange, you know. It seems really strange to me. Like, as in, I think they're either trolling or they're mentally ill level strange. Like, it's not a normal, doesn't feel like a normal response. But what you got going on, Scott? So I'm hoping I can push this one out pretty far, but I'm going to do a bunch on the bike this morning, definitely. Trying to get a squat up to 140 kilograms times 5. Nice, good worthy goal. Good worthy goal. Of course, I'm down to not much stronger than that with all this cardio and the fasted cardio on this cut on the squat. Everything else is good. All right. That's my goal in the next 3 months. Nice. Seems it's like a solid goal. What's your game plan? Hey, Coach. What's up, Peppermint? Peppermint, we're up early getting this done. Already had a shirtless comment. Pounding the pavement in the dark. Yep. You're the man, to help my squad. Cool, Scott. Scott, if you need a game plan, hit me up for a consultation, though, dude. I'll help you out. So weird commenting on it. Yeah, it's truly weird. It's like, I don't know, it's either just trolls or it's a cultural thing for some people. Keep in mind, I'm way more chill about it than most people where I live, because I'm used to dealing with people of different cultures and abroad and a large audience. Most people where I live do not take it well when people from other cultures make suggestions they do something different. Like, I'm super chilled about it in comparison. I don't cuss them out or anything. Or I don't tell them how, like, dude, Texans are like that. They'll straight up tell you how inferior and trash dumpster your culture is as a response. Like, they'll literally insult you. They just don't take that well. How often do you shower doing this much cardio? Probably a minimum of 3 times a day with this much. Coach, you have experienced different cultures, so you have a perspective, right? The very insular culture here. They don't take suggestions or criticism in a way that you would expect. It's for people who are so polite, because we have a very polite culture. They don't take it well. They flip script on you real fast. Like, Texans are very, very adamant that our culture is the most superior on earth, including versus the rest of the United States. Like, that's just our mindset. So, but yeah. You know. Back over to fitness, though. So yeah, I mean, doing all the cardio in this heat and then my training in the garage, I mean, it's at least 3 showers a day. I mean, they don't need to be super long showers. I just need to soak up and wash the sweat and everything off really quick. When do you think you will whoosh next? I don't know. I was happy to hit the 210. My calories been a little too high this week though, with some extra added fat. I'm gonna trim it back down and keep it in check here. I feel like I've definitely lost fat in spite of that. It's hard to eating super clean with fasting and this much cardio to not lose some fat. But again, do some moisturizer and dry. No, I don't really moisturize. All right. So, but I think it'll start working down again next week. Because again, I'm kind of realizing I could get away with keeping the diet even tighter on the calories. I mean, again, looking at all those side chest stuff, I'm bigger than I realized at this point. And my muscle dysmorphia doesn't always let me see it. I have to have people remind me. Limitless, a whoosh. It's a standard fitness term. Okay. So go read Lyle McDonald's Whoosh and Swooshes article he wrote about 18 years ago. Just everyone uses it in my circles. So when you're losing body fat, sometimes you'll go long periods of time with no loss on scale weight, even though you're in a deficit, because your body tries to reach homeostasis and holds water until all of your stress hormones catch up and decide that you've lost the weight, then you drop a bunch of water all at once. It happens to everybody if you diet long enough. Almost every human being on earth who's ever done a prolonged weight loss phase has experienced this. Some people have experienced it 5 different times in a prolonged weight loss phase. I do, but I'm only binging then on healthy foods, and did that a little bit this week. So I need to just not have those specific things in the house, and the problem goes away. Because you can't really, I mean, that's the beauty of the intermittent fasting. If I don't have calorie dense enough foods and I only start eating at noon or later, I'm still probably going to be in a tiny deficit if I binge a little bit. That's the beauty of the approach. But not having it in the house helps. Like, you can't binge if the food's not there. Trying to bring your shoulders back on the side chest post. Yeah, that's about as far back as they're going, dude. Diet is harder than the training, yeah. But with the foods I have in the house at this moment, I really can't binge. Plus all the ultra high satiety food, it's like, so this is one reason I'm against flexible dieting and all that. If you're doing everything right, it can be hard to create a surplus, even if you get really hungry. I wouldn't say I didn't binge, though. I just had extra calories a couple times this week. But I still hit that 210 earlier in the week, so we're good. All right, we're still at a low. But yeah, for the thing for this weekend on, I'm going to make sure I just don't do that pretty much. Just stick to my feed window. Keep the cardio high and the scale will start coming back down. Because at this point, I'm big enough. Like I'm realizing how big I am. Seeing those pictures. People in real life have to remind me frequently. So I mean, people. I know haters. They make memes of the bigger in real life thing, but I still have real life people who are in my life who remind me of it. They're like, you were bigger than you look on camera. So, and then I see those side chest pictures and it's like, okay, that's where I'm at. So, yeah. Not 205 is only 5 pounds away, dude. No, I'm gonna go down under 200. I'm probably gonna go to the 190. Even at 190, you will, yeah, I already know I will. I'll probably look bigger. I have a feeling at 200 I'll look bigger than I look now at 210. I put up a post on that on Facebook. It had some interesting comments by people. I kind of basically said, then other people were throwing in the math, and I wrote, I need to do some videos. That'd be a good video topic. I need to say this out loud so I remember to do video topics on it. That guys need we need to lose this arbitrary, you need to be 200 pounds as a lifter, because it pushes novice lifters to do that, and they just get fat, right? And everyone brings up height, because I kind of put the thing in there. I'm like 90% of men do not have the genetics to be 200 pounds at a really healthy or lean body fat. They don't have the frame to hold it or the genetics. You know, now you can say something like 90%, right? And then everyone wants to chime in of how I'm wrong. Especially guys over 6 foot. And it's like, US is a taller country. Over 6 foot is like 10% of the population. It's only like 1 in 10 guys. So saying 90%, right? When I first trained, I ended up overbulking, and it was set my training back a lot. Yeah, depends on height. So 5'8", 200 natural, you can forget that. And that's the point, feed me. So feed me. But if I make a statement, and this is what people are missing, they don't understand that the statement accounts for that. So I said 90% of people do not have the frame or the genetics. Okay. And then people bring up height. Oh no, because of height. And I'm like, you guys are listing heights that are 6% of the population. You're agreeing with. They're not realizing they're actually agreeing with my statement. If they say, yes, you're correct, and it depends on height, then we're good. When they say no because of height, it's like, that's like me saying the sky is blue and saying someone, no, it isn't green. You know, yeah, that's what we just said. Okay. I'm from 170, 195 in just over a year. Wow. Now I'm 180 and stronger than I've ever been, right? You just got fat. Yeah, 25 pounds in a year is a lot. So that's pretty similar to my first year of training, honestly. But I had also lost a lot of weight. So it's probably a little different. You know, I wasn't fat, but I had lost 150 pounds and had probably lost muscle from being more overweight. So as soon as I started lifting, muscle memory in all the legs from having the higher body weight. Because there's no way you're not losing muscle. Especially when I did it through mostly cardio, you know, you lose 150 pounds. I probably lost at least 10 pounds of muscle in my lower body, if not more. So, you know, I'm over here laughing though, because with this cut and then comparing my squat and my bench numbers, I think we could make a joke. I probably almost bench as much as I squat. That's hilarious. But again, it's this much fasted cardio. The squat is just plummeted. All my benches stayed good. I'm only on 0.5 grams in a month at most. Yeah, and I think that's reasonable. Even then, you've been training long enough that 0.5 pound a month of weight gain is still might not be 100% lean. Bench 3 for 2, that's good on a cut. Yeah, well, not only that wasn't like a fresh bench, you know. I did Widowmaker squat. I did pullovers and set a deadlift to failure and calf raises before benching. So we went in fatigued, and then I did a set to failure beforehand for reps. So I'm definitely probably stronger than that fresh at this point. But I was still happy with it. So with that fatigue there, and after doing a set of 245 for 11 reps to failure, to get 2 clean pause flat back reps after all that, I'm fairly happy with that. That Widowmaker was solid, yeah. So I'll do more of those. I just feel like from this point on, I don't need to squat heavy for a while. All right, I just need to do stuff like that. You know. But I've even concluded that, you know, the dad bod strength standard I put out, I still think is perfectly reasonable for me as I cut, right? So if I get to like 185 shredded at say 50 years old, right? And I can still hit my dad bod strength standard, I feel like I'm in a really good place. Can Widowmakers work on bench or deadlift? I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, you could, but benching is a different beast. Keeping in mind the whole point of the Widowmakers is because it works your entire body, right? So people are missing the point. I think people are missing the point with the old school. It's because the squat's kind of a full body exercise. That's the idea. So old school bodybuilders did it for just overall development through the body, and then football players would do it. Widowmakers are where you take a weight that's about your 10 rep max or so, and you get to 10 reps and rest pause more reps, and you try to eventually build to 20, taking as long as you need. But in my case, I did 10, then I did 4. And then I got stapled. So you're taking 3 or 4 seconds between reps, and you take them out longer and longer. They're called 20 rep squats or breathing squats, but Widowmakers is also the term for it. I think they started calling it that in like the 50s. They were big on, so where I live, that was kind of the football player program, right? So that was the standard method to build high school football players, was to do those, and then to do that sort of routine where you do them followed by the pullovers or whatever, and then they would bench press and stuff, right? So that's kind of what a lot of the football programs here were built off of, was that type of squat, like Widowmaker squats, bench press, push presses, power cleans, right? And we have to note, again, you guys aren't in the US, so you're not familiar with this. Plus keep in mind, pretty much American football is the highest paid sport in the world. Like, if you wanted to truly be a highly paid athlete, you would technically want to immigrate to the US with a chance of becoming NFL, because it's the most money of any sport in the world, pretty much. Probably. I don't even think soccer pays as much. So Texas is known for producing large numbers of scholarship football players coming out of high school, like an unusually large number. Hey, King Clark, man, you try to find a way to come up with the weirdest questions. All right. Yeah, so would someone like Jeff Side, no, wild off the land is not what we mean. We're talking about a survival situation. All right, apocalypse situation. So you're talking the total grid going down and then you having to survive out. No, because too much muscle, right? So if you're lean with too much muscle, yes, obviously that's going to be problematic in those situations. But it's not a statement of how you should live your life now. Unless you're relatively sure in your contingency is that you're preparing for an apocalypse. You're for a prepper situation, then it really isn't a concern, right? Because realistic, like if you wanted to really be ready for a true prepper situation, you should have some extra body fat, which is not good for your health. Makes sense, right? Is wheat good for you? What do you mean? There's no answer to that. I mean, that's very context. It's a grain. Grains are generally good. The problem is preparing wheat. The problem is not that wheat is a problem. The problem is how we prepare wheat is a problem. I mean, no one's standing around just eating wheat as a type of cereal. You know, we mix a lot of other stuff with it when we mill it to make breads and things. Now, wheat pasta, probably okay. The problem is more of, I don't know what's in shredded wheat cereal. I would need to go look at the box. So the question is not the wheat, it's what are you mixing with it, all right? Nothing inherently problematic with wheat, it's the things we make out of it. And the totality of what all we put into this. So if the shredded wheat cereal doesn't have a bunch of junk added, I'd probably fine. Yeah, I see no issue. Particularly if you still retain a significant amount of the fiber. And it doesn't matter that some people have gluten problems or have celiac disease. These things are rarer than people make them out to be. Respect for all your work. Thank you, Carol. So these problems are rarer than people make them out to be. And what we come down to with a lot of these various issues that people have, I don't know what's in Red Bull peppermint, sorry. I would need to have the can in front of me to read it. I don't know what's in it. Again, I don't drink and eat stuff like this usually, so I don't know the ingredients. So the issue that people have when we get over to, oh, I have this intolerance or this problem with these normal foods, is because they've already created a disease state. And this is the problem. People have eaten really bad for years, and then all of a sudden they have various gut health problems, and I can't handle this food, I can't handle that, I have this intolerance. It's not genetic, it's your lifestyle that created it. So this is why I tell people, if you're having all these issues, it's because you treated your body like a garbage dumpster for too long. You have to stop doing that. Hey, yo, what's up? Hey, Skippy. So if you're dealing with any of these IBS things or a non-celiac gluten intolerance or whatever people happen to have, these are almost always lifestyle induced. People have eaten too much junk. They've eaten not enough fiber, not enough fruits, vegetables, drank too much alcohol, all these different things, and they've created gut health problems, and now they can't handle normal foods that would be otherwise healthy. So they have to undo all that damage, and it's not a, hey, I can't eventually handle these other normal healthy foods. It's that until I fix my other situations, I can't. Coach, how long did it take you to handle healthy foods? I was young, so this was not a problem. Plus, I always ate, fruits and vegetables. So it's just that I ate too much junk. No, it's your peppermint. I feel like you misunderstood. You misunderstood. We're talking about these individual intolerances that develop due to gut biome. So when people are like, I can't handle, I have a non-celiac gluten intolerance, for example. I'm not saying me, I've never had that. Or they have issues with these foods because of their bad lifestyle has created gut imbalances or damage. They have to correct all of this. It's not their genetics of where they're predisposed to have a problem with that food. It's their lifestyle up to that point. Hey Skippy, so we're going to give you the standard line. Right, we'll give you the standard line. This thing that you're talking about. Oh, Cole Robinson, you said Coke Robinson. Even though I know who he is, you guys have to quantify this stuff. So you guys know the rule in the streams. If you say a name or a word, you need to tell me the reference. Like it's a YouTuber, it's a video game, it's a TV show, it's a basketball team. You know, otherwise I don't necessarily know. He's a con man though. Complete shill, pushing scam, crazy diets, extreme diets. I don't have a lot of use for him at all. He pushed a crazy snake diet. Now he did the sugar. He's just a crazy shill, crazy con man, really, pushing extreme diets. I'm on the train, so missed bits of your live. Okay, so no peppermint. That was my point. A lot of these various digestive and health issues that people complain about are self-inflicted. It's their bad lifestyle up to that point that's created, gut biome problems or problems with their GI tract in general that they wouldn't have otherwise had. So they have to get everything back on point and healthy again and stop blaming the gluten or whatever they're having the issue with and fix their lifestyle so that they can now handle wide varieties of healthy foods again. All right. Again, another reason this carnivore thing is going to go really, really bad. And I pointed that out. And I'm not the only one. Plenty of other people are pointing that out. The gut flora problems they're all going to have from it. They're all going to have all these problems in the future. Right? And here's the issue. They won't be able to stay on carnivore forever. When they start having problems with it, they're going to have to come off of it. Because when we warn them of these other things, they say, well, it doesn't matter because I'm never going to eat carbohydrates or fiber again, so it's irrelevant. They're predisposing themselves to situations to where they're not going to be able to handle fruits and vegetables. And when they get to a point where their doctor's like, you're going to have to add them back in or you're going to die. Same thing, they're all making themselves insulin resistant. Look how many of them, their blood work is pre-diabetic. So a lot of the deep keto people who do the really high saturated fat make themselves insulin resistant. And you can see it in their blood work. And they're like, but it's okay. Well, that doesn't matter because I'm not going to eat carbs again. Well, they've made themselves pre-diabetic with the ultra high saturated fat intake. And you can see it in their blood work. So when they come off of it, guess what? They go from pre-diabetic to full-blown diabetic. In 5 to 10 years' time, we're going to see condemnation of the carnivore as these problems get worse and worse. Yep, makes for fascinating medical studies, though. Yeah, there'll be some interesting case studies. We've already seen some of it. I mean, I know several trainers and coaches and people who've discussed this. When some of the lives I did with Ariel, she had already said, yeah, she's dealt with a couple of clients who already had major gut flora issues from running carnivore. In the short time it's already been going. And it makes sense. It makes sense. Some people are going to experience that way sooner than others. And So again, this low fiber nonsense, the fiber-free diet they're promoting, you know. So it's really, the problem is twofold. It's the high saturated fat with the no fiber. But you know, I'm shocked how many people are in denial of that last keto study, right? The plaque begets plaque situation. Now that the researchers were forced to release their data, it's really bad, right? Like that study, now that that data has been released by pro-keto researchers who didn't want to release their data, is pretty much a death blow. It's the nail in the coffin to high saturated fat keto diets for any purpose, because it's like, okay, it helped with the other condition, but it's going to still give you a heart attack. And that's what the data is very clear on that. Their own data is showing the long term of that is absolutely going to be major heart attacks, even though they seem fine for years. Like that's pretty scary, given the popularity. You know, it's a bad situation. It is a bad situation, guys. Yeah. And I don't know what the solution is. I don't know what we do about it, because none of these people who follow these things listen. You know, they're just not interested. I don't know what percentage. At this point, it's gotten so big that's not the case. It's a ton of the other. Although I'm seeing flip-flops, because like my Facebook can be a kind of a homing pigeon for this, or kind of a little, like a beacon for it. I'm seeing both groups now. Okay. I'm seeing both groups. I'm seeing the cases where, how do I put it? I'm seeing all these former vegans who are now carnivore promoting it militantly. And I've had, because of some of the diet groups I'm in and posting, one of them has followed me over to my page. One of these guys, actually I've seen two of them now on Facebook, who are former carnivores who've gone vegan. Okay, we're now coming around full circle. We have tons and tons of former vegans who had health problems with it, so they went carnivore. So they go from one crazy extreme to the next, right? And now we're having, and I'm seeing these cases come up because they're telling me about it right there in public, in the groups that are directly on my page. We're now having the other, which is, as you guessed it, as I just said, carnivores who are going vegan because they've had issues with it, right? And now they're promoting that vegan is the way. I did the carnivore for 2 years and I had these problems, but now that I'm vegan, they're all gone, right? So this is problematic. So we're seeing these groups go back and forth now. We're seeing the full circle, right? We're seeing the full circle, and it's fascinating. So I don't know what to make of that. When the reality, and here's the other thing, I've had people that get mad at me. You're trying to push your way of eating is just as extreme, but I'm like, but it's not. Like I'm not restricting people's food groups. I'm not telling people to not eat any, I'm only telling people not to eat junk food and processed foods, you know. I'm literally just telling people not to eat a bunch of highly processed foods. I'm telling people to get lots of fruits and vegetables. I'm telling people they need to not disregard any macronutrient. They need a diversity of plant matter, and they need animal source proteins. What I'm promoting is that extreme. other than it's like, well, you're anti-junk food position. I'm like, but it's not food, right? Look good, May, keep it up. Looking better than you did 20 years ago. Thank you, man, appreciate it. Coach, you just promote normal, right? I just want people to eat normal whole foods. And notice with some of that, I'm not even against some carbohydrate refining. You know, I think a lot of people can handle decent amounts of white rice. I tend to do more brown rice, but I also have times with white rice, and I tell people, look, I'm not even against, you know, white pasta sometimes if you have the starch needs, right? So because those are not is the same level of process we're concerned with. So, you know, I mean, I have one of my clients who struggles to eat enough to gain weight, and he doesn't want to do lots of fat. He eats white pasta routinely, but he's young and athletic and has abs, you know, and he's struggling. When I say struggling to gain body weight, I don't mean struggling to bulk. I mean, he's 152 pounds right now. He's been training 2 years. So, but he did cut down at one time and was boxing, and now he's trying to get bigger. And he's like, I don't want to get fat, but I need to be gaining weight. And he struggles to get his calories in with as busy as he is. So he does some white pasta, and he does do some flour tortillas and stuff. Hey man, have any experience with ecdysterone? No, it's a complete scam. All the research shows it's a scam. All the experts agree these are scams. The only people pushing it and pushing the bunk studies are the people selling it. They're a scam. I don't have any experience. I don't need it. Yeah, dude, scams. Lots of keto and carnivore are having gut issues every time I tried it. I always feel horrible. Yeah, I mean, they're going to have gut issues. It's the lack of fiber and plant diversity. You got to eat carbs if you want to grow, you know. Well, again, the other point with the carbohydrate is look at all the data. I mean, so we can argue longevity and health. They all ignore this, right? All the longest lived, healthiest societies on earth eat predominantly carbohydrates as the largest calorie source, starchy carbohydrates specifically. But we set that aside. Yeah, we come over to athletes. Nobody is an elite athlete on low carbohydrate. It just doesn't happen. All right. So if we're going to talk about fitness, because I have people making those arguments too, like on Facebook, right? Well, you have a high energy turnover and lift weights and bodybuild is what they're putting. And it's like, well, shouldn't all of you be doing that? Like that's, but then it's kind of like, so what are you eating instead? Fat? So you don't think that you need all these carbohydrates, but you're going to have a higher density. And I'm trying to be nice. I have one of the people is making this argument, and she is not lean, to put it nicely. She's still overweight, pushing the high fat, low carb. And it's kind of like, well, people who have insulin resistance and aren't training like you do, and it's like, well, maybe y'all need to be training like I do. But here's the thing. Here's the funny part. It's like, so you don't have the energy needs that I have, and you think eating a bunch of fat is going to be the solution? You're going to get too many calories still, right? Yeah, rice and potatoes are a must. Well, I don't know if they're a must. They're helpful, though. Normal people look at guys coach size and assume they are bodybuilders, right? And granted, I have the high energy output, but I mean, let's be realistic here. Eating a bunch of animal fat versus eating starchy carbohydrates, if you aren't athletic and burning tons of calories, there's a lot more food volume, a lot less calories for the amount of food you eat in those starchy carbs. You know, I switch between white and brown rice from time to time. It's about all the fiber at the end of the day. It's all about. I mean, there's some other benefits. No, no, brown rice does have some more antioxidants and stuff. So we do need to be aware of that. But realistically, it's not a lot of fiber in brown rice itself. But it is a very high quality fiber, and it does have a lot of antioxidants and things. So that has to be accounted for. But if you're eating a lot of vegetables, white rice still works really well. I mean, that's always the other end of the coin there. Right? You know, that's the other side of the coin. You know, you throw enough broccoli and potatoes in it. But even then, say maybe you throw a bunch of broccoli in that white rice, you're going to slow the absorption, add all that fiber and stuff anyways. And some people don't tolerate brown rice as well for their gut, and that's fine. Would you recommend supplementing vitamin D if you live in a cold climate? Probably. I mean, as needed. So many foods are fortified. Yeah, oatmeal's really, really good on the fiber end. I have some oatmeal up for my meals from last night, actually. Yep, oats. But then how many people are trying to demonize oats? When you talk about a fat loss and bodybuilding staple, and people want to demonize oats. You know? And I mean just plain oats and then add your other stuff you need to it, you know? Oats, yeah. Absolutely phenomenal overall. You're trying to get fiber, a good energy source. I mean, oats, difficult to beat. So I'm not saying it's keen. Well, definitely fiber though. It's definitely in terms of grains like that. Easy to prepare, source of soluble fiber. Oats are up there. You know. Do you hit every body part? I do full body 3 days a week right now. I do every lift 3 days a week. Squat, bench, deadlift, pull-ups, dips, all that. Curls, you know. So right now, I do full body Monday, Wednesday, Friday. For Hey Skippy. This will cause certain people to freak out in certain circles. I'm like, yeah, I squat and deadlift to failure 3 times a week. Like, what do you mean to failure? You know, until the bar hits the pins on the squat. And I have to crawl out from under it. Until we go to pull deadlift or rep and we can't break it off the floor. That's failure. I like full body 3 times a week, but legs couldn't handle it. You got to watch the volumes there. I was doing fine with 3. Now I'm doing the Widowmakers again. You can do a Widowmaker 3 times a week. Yeah, buddy. People don't want to train like that, though. Scott, people are scared to train like that. Everyone trained like that when I was younger. That was the norm, like how people trained. We were still coming off that OG stuff, although the DC training type stuff was getting kind of big. There was still a lot of Dorian Yates inspired bodybuilding happening in the gyms. All right. You know. Excuse me. Deadlift is a full body exercise too, so couldn't Widowmakers work? I mean, you feed me, you could. I'm just saying there's no, how do I put it? Feed me, you can try it, but I think you're gonna realize once you get into it, it's not gonna work as well as you think. In other words, you're going to try to do the Widowmakers and they're just not going to work. Does that make sense? You're going to go for the rep 11 or 12 and it's not going to pick up off the floor. I mean, you're free to try it, but I think that you're going to find it, you simply can't Widowmaker it. And the hand tearing and stuff is going to accumulate. Yeah. Difference between riding a squat down to the pins and rebracing versus re-pulling off the floor when the fatigue mounts up and your form degrades. Yeah. Well, no. Ideal versus possible. 80-10s will do the trick. So what you're going to find, I mean, you can give it a try, but you'll see when you try it, you will understand what I'm saying. You'll be like, oh shit, coach is right. You literally won't be able to do it. Like, it just won't happen. You're going to try to do it, and the Widowmaker is simply not going to occur. All right. So you go to close to failure, right at failure with 10 reps on a deadlift, and you try to rest 3 or 4 seconds and pull another rep every time, you're not going to get to 14. You're not going to get to 15. You're sure as hell not going to get to 20. The weight is just going to stick on the floor. I think building up from 8 to 10 reps is much better. Sounds like CrossFit, what? You know? No, we're talking about old school training. What do you mean CrossFit? CrossFit didn't exist when we were doing the 20 rep squats programs. The guy who invented CrossFit wasn't born yet. So when this was popularized. So this is, you know, but yeah, so I've incorporated the old school Widowmakers again. My best ever, I'd like to get back to that, right? Was a Widowmaker with 315 on a full squat. Of course, I'm doing it beltless now too, so, but I did that beltless back in the day. Yeah. No, you guys are missing the point. I don't know. They're not going to be Widowmakers. You're not using your entire body. Quit trying to carry them over, guys. The Widowmaker is specifically a breathing squat thing. Let's not try to, let's not Greg Doucette here and make up new terms. Okay. We're not Greg Doucette. We don't rename everything. You would just call that rest pause on an upper body. The Widowmaker is a specific 20 rep squat style. Yeah. So let's just stop. Let's just call that rest pause training. I mean, we could look at it from that perspective, call it rest pause, you know, all these techniques. But the difference, the squat is not the same. And I think you guys are forgetting, we're missing the forest for the trees. Right, we're missing the forest for the trees here, guys. Why is it done on the squat? Because of the full body component, the conditioning component, right? This huge amount of load placed on the body that also forces you to have to breathe and then build additional conditioning on top of the hypertrophy fatigue, right? And it's done as a single set. You're not doing multiple sets here. You're straight up doing one set of ridiculous squats usually. And yes, dudes got really, really jacked doing this back in the day. Coach, what's the best weight you have personally done on a 20 rep squat? 315. I've hit 315 on the Widowmaker before. I did it again here in the US after I got back. I managed to pull one off at Iron City before I was filming everything again. All right, building my squats back up. Then I kind of quit squatting for just a little bit. I still feel like I need to squat. One reason the Widowmakers work for me is because I don't want to squat and I know I need to squat. And so I can just do one set and know I did a ridiculous amount of work and I can walk away and not touch my quads again. So, yeah. So the best I did in my 20s, I got to, then I did it again in my 30s at one point. So, I mean, ideally, sure, I'd like to get to a 315 for one again. But, you know, so those used to be standard programs for that. You know, used to be, so a standard type program, like for a full body day, would literally be a Widowmaker followed by a 20 rep dumbbell pullover, and then like 3 sets of 10 on a bench press to failure, and that would be a full workout. All right. So those are the sort of programs that were routinely done back then, and then that would be a full day. Clean and press doing 20 reps is brutal. Well, Skippy, we're not talking about Skippy. So what we're talking about is with your 10 rep max. So the 20 rep breathing squats, you take your 10 to 12 rep max and do 20 reps with it. Do you understand? It takes up to 3 minutes. So you can't clean and press because you're setting the bar back down. So the idea with the 20 rep squats that we're talking about, and this builds football players, like tons of Texas schools did this for football to get all these guys jacked for scholarships and stuff. So what we're saying is you take a weight that 10 reps is hard, really hard on a squat. You don't re-rack the bar, you leave it on your back. And you go till either you fail and get stapled or you get to 20 reps. You take breaks and stand there and take multiple seconds and breathe, recatch your breath, and then do another rep. And you keep the bar on your back. You do not re-rack it. That bar stays on your back the whole time. And so the idea is to take your 10 to 12 rep max and to grind out 20 reps, even if you need 10 seconds between every rep to get there. And you stand there with it on your back, taking deep breaths until you recover between reps. Yeah, my back and core can't handle it. Old school bodybuilders did this, and then football players did this. For high school football was a very common approach. So then if you're going to follow the true 20 run squat program, so you would do that with your squats, and then you do a set of pullovers afterwards. While you're still trying to regain your breath, you go over and you do deep range of motion pullovers immediately after. So kind of like I did yesterday with it. So again, this is one of the techniques to the silver era type physiques. So those bodybuilders in that era were big on this particular technique. So the true 20 rep squat program, like the Widowmakers like that, you do that with the squat, and then you do a set of pullovers afterwards, so that you stretch all that, have to open up your ribs while everything's puffed up, stretches your intercostals, and it also helps you get better at vacuums because of that. So again, the whole idea between a lot of this was, the idea is to learn to get a fuller, open up your rib cage more, and then get better at vacuums and sucking all the transverse abdominals and everything in. Because again, what they always wanted for that sort of era of look, they want the tiniest waist possible and the thickest chest. that you can have front to back. And then you build lats and stuff with lots of pull-ups. So that's was considered part of the training for the classic physiques. Now, obviously, you're going to get decently big and strong doing this because nobody's going to get weak. Like, you're going to get strong doing that, right? But it's also going to make you more athletic. Keep in mind, this is done for football players too. So these guys were big on athleticism. So if we're thinking in terms of just fitness and athleticism, is this going to carry over to making you more athletic? So when people hear silly stuff like, oh, squats are not going to make you, but training like that will. I can do more weight with a barbell pullover, so it's better. I mean, yeah, you could do a barbell pullover too. So the idea with this setup is, you know, you do that with the squat, and then you do a pullover. So think in terms of the breathing. So the same thing, people are like, you only do less cardio, you're not going to have a good cardiovascular. But then you guys watch me do Widowmaker squats, working on that, and then do pullovers afterwards. It's like, that's high intensity conditioning, right? Hey coach, what's up, Rufio? So once my body fat is lower and I can cut the list back to a reasonable level, I'll start doing sleds and other stuff too to get more athletic. All right. Barbell pullovers are so good. One of my favorite. The problem I'm having with the barbell is it inflames my bicep tendons for some reason in my forearms. That's why I went back to the plates. But I mean, I'm doing okay. I did 20 reps, 3 sets of 20 with 70 pounds of plates. So what sort of weight are you using on those pullovers though, on the barbell? Dropping my life or dead, appreciate it, Rufio. You know, the thing we have to ask is how much weight you're using. Wrist problems with barbell pullovers. Yeah. So you're having wrist pain with it? I'm not getting wrists. I get like my bicep and the radial brachialis and stuff get really inflamed, like to the point where I can't do curls or anything. So that's why I went back to the plates. I mean, I may be able to eventually work on men with the barbell again. I'd love to. Me at 30 kilograms. Okay. Right. So that's a little bit different. So what was I doing? And I was having pain with what's like 115, even 95 pounds was getting problematic. What is that in kilos? About 40 something, 45 kg or something. But with the plates, I'm doing, yeah, I mean, that's about 30 kilos, 70 pounds. So I'm doing 3 sets of 20. How much do you think you could chest press with dumbbells? I don't know. Getting them into position's the hard part, you know. I mean, you guys saw me do flat bench. I did 224 for 11 yesterday, all flat back. So, I mean, I don't know, take 10% off that. I could probably do 10s with 110s or whatever if I needed to, but I don't care. Class guys have they have big biceps and triceps. Carol, their arm element in general was really high. Their arms tended to be overdeveloped, if anything, in general, biceps and triceps. So go look at some of those guys, you'll see what I mean. But they all had forearms. All right. The other problem though with dumbbells for me, with the adjustable dumbbells, on a flat bench when I've messed with them, I can't set them back down easy with the adjustable ones. So I end up having to drop my dumbbells on the floor, and I'm like, I'm gonna break this stuff. For what? I could just use a barbell. Yeah. No, Carol, I think what you need to say is they just had big arms in general. They tended to have really big arms across the board. But think of all the pullovers and dips and other stuff. So they all had triceps. But in terms of forearms, you know, none of them use straps either. I may add some wrist curls back in though, personally. Yeah. Yeah, Larry Scott's arms. I mean, how about Bill Pearl's arms? Especially his triceps, you know? Big pythons. But we come over, remember the point about the pullovers. A lot of those guys loved pullovers. So was that part of why they all had triceps? Yeah. But yeah, those guys didn't use straps for anything. And they all did pull-ups, they all did deadlifts, all this stuff. You know, you're gonna build forearms. Yeah, Bill Pearl's triceps are crazy. He had forearms were crazy too, though. But yeah, I could stand to add some of the wrist curls back in. So I'm taking a moment with some of it to go, look, if I do more indoor cardio and I don't obsess over the cardio on the lifting days, I can do more lifting. So I'm slowly working more stuff back in, worked my calves back in. And I can condense it down by doing a Widowmaker squat. That takes a lot of time out early in the workout. So if I just do the Widowmakers and one set of deadlifts to failure, I can get right back to the upper body stuff. But the calves kind of do need to be in there. And I'll probably add some forearms back in. Yeah, they tended to train everything 3 times a week. And strong barbell curls, yeah. Like I said, I'm doing the incline curls right now. I'll probably work the barbell curls back in eventually. So kind of back and forth. Those are going to be my go-tos. But yeah, no, eventually I'll work some of the wrist curls back in at the end, maybe. You know, if anything I took out, it'll be the shoulder work. But yeah, I'm gonna have to be arm and pec obsessed. But yeah, once I get leaner, I think the chest will definitely look better. We can see the thickness now. I had some dude, I've had a few haters chime in. For all the benching you do, you have a flat chest. And I'm like, and we see those side chest shots, and I'm like, are y'all crazy? Like, that's just such a weird statement. I've had a few haters make. I've never in my life had a person accuse me of having a small chest. It's funny. You need for wrist curls, Jason, you're good. Well, Scott, of again, keeping in mind my arm length, you know, thicker forearms, never a bad thing. Your side chest profile is insane, right? I've had a few haters come in and say that. They're like, you have a really flat. I'm like, are y'all serious, dude? That's like saying I have long hair, you know? Be interesting to see your chest down at 180 or 190, right? That's why I've just got to keep cutting. And like I said, eventually I'll add a little more athletic stuff in. I just don't have the recovery, you know, with all the walking and the list cardio. But we use that to get leaner. But that's why I don't want to use any fat burners. I can just take the lifts out, and once I add a little bit of sled work and I can bump training volume a little more, then I think we'll see some muscle memory bounce back. So my metabolic rate will probably end up going up more. But But yeah, same thing with wrist curls. I may not try to work them in right now though, because all this cardio and the cutting, you know, we're not going to gain much muscle. And I do so much pulling without straps because we do deadlifts and pull-ups every workout. You know, so I do get a lot of raw pulling. The sun might be up soon. Might be before the end of this. I might only do one walk though, guys. I'm probably going to do some bike. The 4 hours of walking is a lot, and I'm really missing a lot of potential streaming time income, you know, because these walks, they don't pay anything, man. When they're only getting, if they only get 300 views, dude, they make like $1. Unless people donate supers. Getting bright now, Coach, right? You done more band? I didn't do any yet, so I'm going to do more of those. I'll do some later today. Thank you for reminding me. Hey, Coach, just hit a sub 200 pounds today. 5'10", 15% body fat. I think 190 would be good. Well, I have to go. I don't know. Depends on how lean. Why don't you just keep cutting and see? Because I don't know how lean you're trying to get. So, you know, I don't know how lean you're trying to get. We need one of them metal pull-apart things, the old school guys. No, I don't like those chest stretcher things. Google tells me it's 550 in Houston down, and you have, yeah, I've been up since 4:30 doing this. I woke up at 4. Yeah, I'm like you, Jason, trying to go down to 30-inch waist while I'm at 31, so 1 inch. There you go, man. There you go. Yeah, but again, we can get lean and stay lean. Really is the way, you know. But yeah, that shocked me with that post of so much blowback from dudes. So I've mentioned that early in the stream in the first 20 minutes, talking about, no, the average guy isn't going to be lean at 200 pounds. Most guys are going to be fat. So telling all these young guys they need to be 200 pounds is just making a bunch of fat dudes. Especially drug-free guys who are under 6 foot. You know, come on. Drug-free guys under 6 foot, especially in their first 5 years of lifting, have no business trying to be 200 pounds. They're just going to be fat. Yeah, 1 inch equals 2.5 centimeters for the non-US crowd. Chad Roos, if you could deadlift all 3 days on intermediate and full body, should novices be able to do it too? Maybe, but it just buried. Novices, if they don't have an athletic background, they have like no recovery. It's been my experience. Me says, took this cut very slowly since February from a 34-inch waist. Everything has went so well. There you go. I'm about 240 fat and strong, right? But that's the point. You know that you're not at an ideal or really healthy body fat, you know. I'm going to again agree with Dulce and other people. Really, if you're trying to truly be healthy, 15% about your cap for body fat. You know, so are we talking health? Or are we talking just looking big, you know? So that's the point. That's why what I'm promoting more and more with everything is actual fitness, is what I'm trying to promote here. Actual fitness. But I got to get leaner to do what I'm trying to do. And like I said, what I'm doing is pretty extreme with all this list, and I don't always enjoy it, you know? I mean, I can't say I'm enjoying this walking right now. I'm definitely feeling the fatigue from it already. So I need more coffee afterwards. But really, yeah, it's the fasting in. So, but I'm going to tighten the diet really, really tight this weekend. See if we can work on whooshing down next week further. I better start eating better, or I could get diabetes. Yeah, you could, Scott. Carol says, I think barbell bench is way much better for chest than dumbbells. Some YouTube fitness experts promote only dumbbells because lifters can move the closer together at the top, which is irrelevant. You made a good point about not knowing what my goal was. I just want to be happy with my physique. Tired of the bulls and looking sloppy. Yeah, so just cut down leaner then. Just cut till you're happy with it, man. Barbell is better, pump more weight. People make the case with the dumbbells, but the issue is, again, stabilization. It's the range of motion. But realistically, no one had trouble building their chest with the barbell back in the day. And I'm not saying dumbbells aren't useful, but realistically, why in this dumbbell era do all these bodybuilders who live on the dumbbells and machines have smaller chests relative to these older school guys who lived on the barbell bench? I can't hold a rack position on front squats right now with my shoulder range of motion. I can't get enough weight on there to make it work because my elbows will point towards the floor and it's kind of hard to rack the weight. Like I can't bring my elbows up to my shoulder height. So with my arms in front of me like that and in a rack position, I can't get my elbows high enough. So let me see how far I can get it. This is as far as I can raise to the front. You see the problem? So that's why I'm doing all this stuff to try to hopefully open my shoulders up. So I can't get into a proper rack position on front squats. And I can't do that cross chest thing. I've run into the same problem. How can I do the cross chest if I can't get my elbows there? The bar's just gonna roll down. So, and all that started when I had that overuse from the daily chin-ups every day and the pull-ups. Like before that, I didn't have those problems. I was able to do a front rack. All right. Well, it's not really true front squat at that point. But back over to the bench press point. They make that argument, but where's the real world evidence? These bodybuilders are bigger and on more drugs, and they still don't have bigger chests than the guys from the bench press era who were smaller than them. So I got to clear that out. So yeah, I always find that rather interesting. Again, no one in the 50s or 60s or 70s had any problem building their chest with the bench press. Hey, Feed Me, do you think? I have no idea. Hey, Feed Me, I think we spend too much time worried about pegging numbers down like that that you can't know. So I have no data, you have no data. So why even try to extrapolate? The only way you're going to get an answer to that is to take a whole year cutting or bulking for you and several other people. It's going to cost you a few $1,000s for DEXA scans, and to meticulously track everyone's fasted waistline and body fat percentage and see if you can come up with a number. Do you think you'll ever slow bulk back up once you... Rufio, I need to stay under 200 pounds for the rest of my life. That I think it for health purposes, I need to do that. And for business, I need to get lean and stay lean. Like, business can't stay where it's at. I guess it's unacceptable. So with my cost of living, I literally can't afford another financial year like this last one. Like, you know, so we got to get business up in this economy. Hopefully the economy picks up. So, yeah. So just for both health and business, I need to get lean and stay lean, you know. Area of your business struggling the last everything. Like every single income stream is lower than it used to be. So the live workouts, absolutely not. Like, to me, the idea of doing that, yeah, especially the way I set up stuff and do it. Oh God, no. I'd rather like die. Like, God, no, I would never do a live workout. Like, you saw the look of abject horror on my face. Yeah, no. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, no, that's been my number one client retention issue, is literally the economy. So every client I have that drops, it's never I'm unhappy with results. It's always, in this economy, I don't have the money for coaching. Like, so over the time, I've had people even who came on and came back and were different clients. I've had like 25 people drop from coaching at one point or another in the last year and a half, who literally cannot afford coaching. Yeah, so the economy is clearly not booming, because this is people in multiple countries and all over the US, you know. Yeah, so people can't afford coaching. Yeah, my prices are, well, the prices used to be, the prices were fine 3 years ago. I was turning people away. So 3 years ago, I didn't have enough coaching slots, and I had starting to put people on wait lists. Hey, Alan, but that doesn't mean people have $250 a month disposable income. So the economy is, everyone I know is struggling out there. Like, I don't know anybody who's doing better anywhere. No one I personally am friends with. I don't know one person who says they're not doing worse. Have you continued changing your coaching? No, not really. So to put into context, I've had new people come on who are paying the $250 now. So when I ran that coaching special for the holidays, all but one of those people dropped because they can't even afford the reduced rate. Yeah. So, well, that's another reason, if I cut and push all my other social media, it'll pick business back up. So, Rufy, I don't know how I would change my business model. Like, I have no clue. I mean, I kind of do what I do, and it's been a very successful model. Like, no, really, like 3 years ago, my coaching, at this point in my life, if I was making what I was making 3 years ago from my coaching across all my businesses, I'd be really happy, actually. Like, I wouldn't have a care in the world. So if my total, all my income streams added up, were clearing what my coaching business was clearing 3 years ago, just by themselves, I would have a completely stress-free life. Stock market's all-time high and unemployment rates. She said, think that they gauge health of the economy. Those numbers are deceiving. Yeah. Are you guys getting much rain today? I don't know. Looking at the sky, we probably will get some rain. So, but with those things going up, though, I think it'll improve over time. All right. I do wish it would kick these lives out more, though. So that's like frustrating for me that YouTube's algorithm's being weird on me. Like these live streams, we're getting a lot more views a few weeks back. So I just need YouTube to be consistent. You know, that would help. And then Facebook's picking up slowly, though. I ran into some snafus there, though, with a fluke on my profile and having a restriction that wasn't there. Cut into my money. So yeah. And then Biden raised my taxes. That doesn't help. They changed the way certain internet stuff was done and reported. So keep doing what you do. Yeah, exactly. Keep doing what I'm passionate at. But I already know getting leaner is going to help. Like, so people, and I don't want to go into too much of my business model. I see dudes way smaller than me who are weaker with less knowledge as soon as they get lean. At a certain level of leanness, their Facebook outreach versus the way my setup is would be a substantial increase in income just off of that one platform alone. So too many people worry about the YouTube. Because you guys are in a YouTube stream, everyone thinks that I'm like worried about YouTube. At this point, you know, YouTube, I've almost wrote it off other than as a side effect of my other social media. Right? So, like, it's not my primary concern. That's why after this, I'm probably going to go split the lives up so that I continue to boost the Facebook algorithm. Because even though I don't get ads in lives, all my Facebook money is coming up and my outreach has been trickling up. So those extra couple hours of lives are good. Yeah, we don't reload ammo. We don't discuss pew-pews at all. It's an off. We don't allow any discussion of it in here. It hurts the algorithm. So no pew-pew, no sexually explicit, no politics. All right. But yeah. Everyone thinks of that as the old days now, which is crazy to me. Like that was the mid days. To me, early days was all my UK stuff. Yeah. YouTube not paying. Well, no, it said I just don't get the views. No, YouTube pays pretty decent per view. These lives don't make anything walking, though. The seated lives on the computer make a lot more money. So I like walking, though, so that's why I'm over here chatting. Like, guys, I'm making like nothing off this YouTube. I'm going to make 50 cents off this stream. Unless people donate supers. Because of the walking doesn't set the ads the same. So when I do the ones on the bike where I can set the ads, they make more. Plus I can stream to Facebook. How much you weighing? I'm at 210 right now. The goal is to cut to 190. So I'm down from 227 to 210 so far. And we're doing all this fasted cardio. So after this walk is done, I'm probably going to do a couple of 1 hour bike rides this morning. And then that's way better for my business. I mean, it's kind of funny. I'm chatting with you guys about business when I'm literally doing this stream. It's going to make me the least money for the whole day. This stream, again, but I'm also walking. So the beauty of it is I enjoy the walking cardio outside on the phone. I don't like it on the bike as much. But since I need to do hours of it, I can mix and match. What will be deleted? So kind of the point with all that, I actually, it's significantly better for my business to do the two of them on the bike. They're good for you. Yeah, but it's good for the fans. Plus, I do get subscribers like Lars. So not just that, these streams are good for the regular fans. I enjoy doing these a lot more, right? Like chatting with my people while walking outside and getting fresh air is actually enjoyable, right? I don't like the bike, but from a business perspective, man, being able to get higher paying ads, more ads on YouTube while also streaming to Facebook at the same time is a big deal. And no disconnections. We don't ever deal with cellular data. But in terms of enjoyment, yeah, just like chatting with my people, man, taking these walks outside is a more enjoyable experience, right? Just overall. Outdoor walks also help advertise for the neighborhood. Yeah, I mean, yep. And it works. Like I've picked up new fans due to this because they all know me on the group. So then they see all the Facebook too. So like the neighborhood groups, private groups. But because I'm active on those. But yeah, I've picked up followers that way, so it is advertising, and I agree. Oh, funny story. So you guys heard the honk yesterday? I put up the picture on Facebook. One of my bros honked at me while I was walking, and I didn't even know he was in the city right now. I hadn't seen him in a couple of years. I've seen him in about, I don't know, a year and a half. Dude honks driving by that I get a text. That was me while I'm walking. It's hilarious. So if you guys caught someone honking at me yesterday, he was coming through my neighborhood. I'm like, dude, why you didn't tell me you're coming through? But he was doing something for business. It was funny. He posts on my Facebook too, but yeah. Right. I sometimes use the lives to fall asleep at night. They're somehow soothing and relaxing to listen to. Does that? No, it doesn't bother me. I mean, I do have that radio voice sometimes, especially when I go to my radio voice like this, Lars, like, hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about today, about Widowmaker squats and how to superset them with pullovers to help open up your rib cage and get you better at doing stomach vacuums so that you have better control of the transverse abdominals, right? I should talk like this all the time in the lives while we walk. We use that radio voice. Radio, radio, radio voice. Precisely, your voice is very comforting somehow. Women enjoy it too. They like that voice. Hey girl, what are you doing? You know, they dig it. Hey Sade, let me holler at you right quick, you know what I'm saying? Pretty good over there, know what I'm saying? Maybe go back to my place, sip on this Henny. Maybe do the grown up, let me clap on them cheeks. Yes, that's what I'm like in real life, my friend. Everyone's used to it who knows me. You guys are not, because I tend to be a lot more filtered online. Everyone in real life's like, dude, you're a clown, man. Clown Town. That's how we get down. All right. But yeah, now I can do the radio voice. I got to do the radio voice more often while I'm doing more of the videos too. Always got to remember. I guess most of my voiceovers, I do use the radio voice, right? I talk like this. Really happy with today's workout, guys. If you guys are unaware, I do those in one take. That is one continual stream. I don't stop and re-record unless a loud noise or something happens where I need to turn it off. I do all those in one take. They're literally a single audio file. It's just one long take. All those voiceovers for the workouts and stuff. Even that one yesterday, it's like a 16-minute long audio. We must speak for a living. I did really well. I made 100 in my public speaking class too. We made a perfect A, an A+. You know? Ooh, I think we're going to hit the 2 hour on this one. We've walked till the sun is up. Ding, 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 ding. Gonna rock it till the wheels roll off. All right, nobody's talking anymore. Lars, they all quit talking to me. Everybody cut out. They're like, Coach Dunn went crazy on us with the radio voice. Everyone thought I knocked everybody out, right? That radio voice made everybody fall asleep. I think that's what happened. You know, made everybody pass out doing that radio voice. Ryan says, good morning, Jason. Hitting some fasted cardio before work myself. Good stuff, man. That's how we get lean. That's how we do it. Fasted cardio. Got to be a cardio machine. Yeah. Like I said, this may be the last walk. I think we're going to do all bike for the rest of the morning so that I can multitask. I need to, and I got to get used to that because, man, the second they kick me to those ads and lives, Coach, back issues, can't squat anymore. Any tips? No, I can't give you tips on a live stream on your back. We're over to consultation or coaching level help. Use your radio voice to host podcasts. Right, we can get on and be like Casey Kasem, KTM 101, radio. Right? With my big 10-inch radio. Right? I can totally do that radio voice. I could do that for a living if I needed to. I might one day be a radio show host if I retire out of this. I shaved the mop off my head. The only regret is that I didn't do it sooner. Dude, I'm telling you, man, it's just bald is so much easier, right? Less upkeep. Women like it. Grown women, not girls. You know, no one cares what a bunch of 20-year-old girls want. Nobody got time for that. Grown women like it. All right, grown women like it. Oh, cool. Yeah, we'll definitely hit the 2 hours for sure on this walk. Girl I'm with like it. There you go, Ryan. Yeah. So fascinating how much guys obsess over that and not realizing how in the shaved head has been for a long time. You know, how many of the most famous Hollywood actors and sex icons have a shaved head? The dudes missed the memo on that, right? So many TV shows and movies now, the main actors, all shaved heads. But then also dudes who are sex symbols, it's like guys, then they obsess over this, losing their hair. While you had Vin Diesel, Jason Statham, The Rock, all walking around with shaved heads. You see lots of musicians do it now, everybody. Like, it's been in a long time. So I don't know why dudes worry about this. You know, I don't know why dudes worry about it. really a non-issue. That's why I don't understand why dudes always feel the need to insult me with it. It's like, I have literally no self-conscious about it. I haven't ever really. So it's just a weird thing. Yeah. Now I'm pretty happy with it. Like, I wouldn't even know what to do with hair now. So I don't get when people bring that up, you know. The broccoli haircut is the word, yeah, it looks horrible. The whole broccoli hair thing. I don't get it either. But, you know, this is us being old. We're not understanding a new generation style, just like our parents and grandparents did with us, you know. Lars, you don't know what the broccoli hair is? Man, you're definitely out of the loop. You are out of the loop, my friend. I think it's going to be impossible to not hit 2 hours on this walk. Started at 4:33 at 6:25. I'm still several blocks from my house. Well, they got the little curls on the top, right? They have like a little perm on the top going on. Right? Yeah. The broccoli head. Yeah, so the sides are pretty much shaved or short, and then they have the curls up on the top. Look like broccoli. She's chopping broccoli there. You guys don't know that reference. I'm really old. She's chopping broccoli there. She's chopping broccoli there. It's an old Saturday Night Live skit that was extremely big hit. Singing chopping broccoli. All right. I know people are like, what in the hell are you talking about? That doesn't even make sense. That's why it was funny at the time. It didn't make sense. All right. What? I remember back in school, mid-'80s, perm was all the rage for both men and women. Oh yeah, the Dana Carvey, yeah. See, Alan knows the reference. Of course, we had Dana Carvey with Wayne's World growing up. Oh man. I'm feeling pretty good about this 2-hour walk we got in though. Yeah, 2 whole hours. Well, not quite, not officially. But I don't see how I'm not gonna get it officially. I have to literally get back to my house somehow. I'm not taking an Uber home. So we have to hit a 2-hour walk. The only way out of it now is an Uber. Or call a friend to pick me up. And I'm 3 minutes from my house. I need you to come get me. Take me home. Imagine getting that call from me at 6:30 in the morning after the 4th of July. My bro would be like, you're effing with me, right? And be like, no, dude, I need you to come get me. I need you to come get me and drive me home 3 blocks from my house. All right. Yeah. Man. Yep, Dana Carvey. That was a Dana Carvey skit. Indeed it was. Probably wouldn't answer does YouTube. Not these days, not really. I mean, you got to have a lot of views. I mean, if you get a lot of views, it pays well, yeah. I get really good money per view, I think, compared to a lot of people, but I'm just not getting the views these days. My coaching pays way more. Doesn't Patrick Mahomes, I don't know. I'm not sure who that is. I don't know who that is. So I can't really answer your question. Since I don't know who they are. Yep. Kansas just quarterback. Oh, I don't know. He might. You'll have to go look. Why don't you go look and come back and tell us? Your work ethic is insane. You definitely inspired me to step up my game. There you go, Ryan. You got to get on top of it, brother. As Ronnie Coleman said, ain't nothing to do but do it. Right? I think the training too. I don't think people know what to make of the training yet. Well, not everyone's seeing it. The vlogs are only getting so many views. Some of them are getting more on. I've had some of the Facebook training vlogs this month crack over 1,000 views on Facebook, and they'll get 300 on YouTube. The training is definitely, a lot of people are like, aren't all this such literally full body to failure? Squats and deadlifts to failure, coach. Why would my stance on raw milk change? There's not one shred of evidence to any benefit. Like, even if you say the risk isn't there, okay, there are no benefits. This has been studied. There's money, big money in finding benefits. So you can't even claim a funding bias. Like when the milk companies are wanting to find benefits and they're paying for the research and they can't find any, that tells you what you need to know. When the money talks that wants raw milk can't find the benefits, you know what I mean? They're like, we can't find any benefits. The energy you get. Have you tried normal milk? Sorry, dude, I'm not going to get on this raw milk train. It's just silly. Like, pasteurization is great. He won a Nobel Prize for a reason. Coach, you should go on a cycle. Your mom should go on a cycle. What? You mean like a steroid cycle? No, we full natty bra. It's gonna be the line. Full natty bra. Yeah, the raw milk craze is strange. I don't even understand the why. It's just like y'all lost your minds, guys. See, I'm just gonna play it like everyone does now. No, we're full natty bra. Full natty bra, 27 fat-free mass index, 48, all natural, baby. People go run and plug my numbers in. Coach, I don't think you're natural, even if you were 25 with those height, weight, and body fat. Be like, all natural, baby. It's called old man gains. You just keep getting bigger, right? So, I'm just going to market that. What do you guys think? Ryan, Lars, what do you guys think? We just do it from now on. Full natty bra. Natural lifter lifting natural things, right? Natural lifters lifting natural weights naturally. Even my barbells are natural. They're natural, high tensile strength steel. All natural, full natty bra. Full natty bra. Testosterone is natural. Your body produces testosterone naturally. It also produces growth hormone naturally. These are natural hormones. Right? So yeah, there we go. Full natty, that natty life bra. All right. I'm gonna come see. Yeah, no, I'm gonna tell you one time, do not come see me. my official public position. People from the internet, do not come see me. To be clear, that is an official legal statement. Do not come see me. I don't know you. We don't play like that. Natty life is the best life. Yeah, I know you aren't, Nico. All right. We passed 2 hours on this walk. Trolls, I know, I see them trolls. No, they're not. They're just probably regular people. They've done nothing else trolly. But we are about to wind this down. Two-hour fasted walk. Like I said, I'll do bike. I think from here the rest of the morning, get some bike streams in so that we can stream across multiple platforms. I bet you this one didn't get that good of views though. Even at 2 hours, that's kind of the point too. Although I keep holding out because last weekend I did this and had $30 in super chats in one of these 6 in the morning ones. But, you know, nice if that was every day. All right, guys, I'm home. Past 2 hours, I'm gonna wind it down. Next one of these will probably be on the bike. Catch you guys next time.